Welcome to Noble Moments. This month we're going to be covering a series dealing with scleroderma. It's an autoimmune disease and we'll go into more detail about it. You'll be seeing our faces quite a bit. This is a very personal matter for us, so sit back, learn something, and enjoy the ride. Welcome back everybody. This is going to be our third video covering scleroderma. This one's a little bit different than a mere informative. We are going to go through, she has some questions. I know a lot of women that have scleroderma typically have issues with spouses.
And occasionally men.
Yes, to some extent. Sometimes there are men that have it, and maybe their spouse has some of these same troubles. So what we're going to be doing is, Trielle is going to go through, she has some questions, and it's from the perspective of myself as a spouse, as a partner. What I go through, how I handle it, and everything. So we'll go ahead and jump right on into it.
Tell everyone what you experienced by being the spouse of a patient with scleroderma.
It's pretty hard. You know, you see day to day when you don't see anything physically wrong, but most people see, oh, well, you're just tired, you're just being lazy, you just don't want to do it. But then you see the look in the eyes of the pain, the fatigue, and it's hard. I mean, mentally, physically, there are times where I try to do everything I can. Sometimes I know I slack because life, and we're not all perfect.
It's your turn to do dishes, by the way.
Yeah, I know. And it's rough because none of us ever want to see our partner go through that much pain, that much fatigue, constantly being tired. And that's not even counting on any mental depression that may come up.
Please excuse the turtle doves in the background. They don't shut up. It's very common out here.
Sorry if you hear some of the wind. We are filming outside today because it is a beautiful day.
It is. And there's no way I can block it. I'm sorry, guys. So we'll just speak up a little bit louder. How do you help out?
There's a lot of different ways. Sometimes it's just the little things and just being there. Holding a hand, being supportive at the doctor's visits, helping to remember some of the questions to ask, asking some of my own questions to the doctors when there's, okay, what do we do now? What about this? Okay, what side effects do we have to look for? All the way to even just trying to
block some of the wind, guys.
Yeah, we're trying. But even from doing things like just helping out more when I see she's having a fatigue day, just telling her, you know what, take it easy, I've got this.
What are the protocols when you're sick to prevent passing it on?
So, when I get sick because of her compromised immune system, thanks to this, it's easy for her to get it, and if she does, it could be very bad. It could be more severe and potentially fatal. So what we do as our protocols is the moment I begin to feel sick, physical contact pretty much stops.
Yep, it gets completely axed out.
You might be lucky if we touch toes. And that would be about it. I start doing more about distance, a lot more hand sanitizer. We do a lot more bleaching throughout the home, trying to keep things sterilized, and just reducing any risk of it coming to her. I also end up doing a lot of medications. I get into the doctor as soon as possible, just because the sooner I get over it, the less likely she is to get it.
We don't always share blankets because we have a throw blanket that we share sometimes, and we don't share that. He limits his contact with my dog, my service dog, because I'm always touching him, cuddling with him, so the less amount of contact.
And quite often or not, we end up sleeping separately just to prevent further risk.
I hate it because I always get stuck on a freaking futon.
I can't help it, you're usually up later than me.
Does your family understand?
Some of my family does. It's a little tricky because I've actually got... My family's so dysfunctional that we're functional.
It's really odd, but it freaking works out.
But more and more, like my stepmom, because my parents are divorced, my dad remarried, she's an amazing woman. When she found out, when we told her, she actually went straight to Google, started researching, and so she doesn't quite understand all of it, but she has a better understanding than some. And so she asks questions, asks how things are doing. My dad,
He's old school.
He's old school. He's an old jarhead, which nothing against jarheads. Born and raised by them, love them. But he has that mindset of if he physically can't see something wrong with you,
You won't believe it.
it is very, very, very hard for him to believe. And so oftentimes we've gotten into arguments over it. Flat out. Short of physical blows, screaming, yelling, knockdown arguments. And more recently, he's starting to understand a little bit.
Because he finally has come out with us while I have my service dog working.
Yeah, so we've gone out a couple of times with him. She's brought Heimdall because she's needed him for the day. And he's gotten to see differently. First time he kept his distance. And then this last time, he
Yesterday,
was right
actually.
there. Yeah, yesterday, through the store. He was bebopping around in a good mood, right there with us, trying to distract the dog at the end of our shopping trip.
He's grandpa, and he loves Heimdall.
He loves dogs, so I can kind of understand it, and he's adapting to it in his own way.
I'm just happy he waited till the end of the shopping trip and not during.
Yeah.
He actually got to physically see him work. When I go to grab something out of like a freezer or something, or I grab a parcel of food, my dog demands to carry it for me, so I don't have to do it. So I hand it off to him, and then I look at him and tell him, let's go take it to Dad, and he runs right to James and hands it over.
Just about tries to throw it in my hands half the time.
Yeah.
But my dad actually finally got to see that. And so it's helped him to start the process of acceptance and understanding. Now we just need to get him the rest of the way through it.
It's gonna probably take some years.
Yeah.
And because he's not physically seeing anything yet, it's gonna be a while.
Then I've got a biological older sister who I really don't think she cares. But we haven't discussed it because it's a very strained relationship right now due to other issues. And I've got my nephew. He
kind of really doesn't even care. He's just like, that's Aunt.
Yeah, that's Aunt Trielle.
Yeah.
And then I've got a stepsister who's right around Trielle's age.
I went to high school with her.
Yeah, kind of small world.
Right?
But she actually understands, and oftentimes when she talks to me, she asks how she's doing, if anything's changed, if she's staying stable. So even if she doesn't fully understand, she understands more than some.
Has this impacted your faith?
It has. At first, it was a bit rocky. It was kind of a low blow sensation. But out of that, it's gotten me to fall back into the faith, to get reconnected. And for those of you who are wondering, I am a heathen, so I am not of a Christian faith. It's a little bit different.
I'm heathen too.
It's
all good.
That's a whole topic for another day. But it got me to get back into it a little more, to help kind of get that balance, that patience and understanding, and the energy to even be able to do any of it and handle it.
Has your faith helped you cope?
It has in a lot of ways. When I'm getting really frustrated or burned out, I kind of look back at it and reread through the Eddas and just kind of put myself in that headspace of, you do what you need to for family. And it's helped me to manage a lot of this and to process it over time and to get to where it's not the end of the world.
Has praying mentally helped you?
Yes and no, because sometimes I overthink things.
Just a little
and
bit.
So when I start going through my prayers and trying to process things, my mind wants to go, well, what about this? What about that? What about this? And then if this happens, and then if that happens, and what about that? And
he always has a lot of questions.
And so it goes a mile a minute sometimes. Other times, it helps me just kind of ground and center, get focused. Sorry about that, folks. It's been a long day. And it just helps me stay goal-oriented on what's going on.
This one's a tough question. Is it hard to have intimacy with your spouse?
It is. There are good days where, and by intimacy, we're not talking about, bedroom activities.
Boudoir funds.
We're talking just relationship intimacy. And it does, because there's a lot of times where I still want to just, hold her, cuddle, and lay down where, like we used to when we first started dating, of lay down, curl up to each other and watch a movie, but
we'd always fall asleep halfway through.
Now, it's impacted that a lot. We can't do that often, and when we can, we do. But more often than not, there's the pain and the fatigue, so she ends up falling asleep, or she's just in too much pain to be, held or cuddled, because it puts her in an uncomfortable position on top of already being in discomfort.
It also doesn't help, too. He's like a freaking heater, and in the summer, that's not fun.
Yeah, that doesn't help either.
That's not fun.
In winter, she kind of likes it when she can, because, well, with it being colder outside, me being a heater, and more frequent Raynaud syndrome attacks, or episodes, if you will.
That's when I latch on to him,
and then it's hard for me because it's already hot in the place, trying to keep it from happening, and then that,
yeah.
And I'm just sitting there. I feel like I'm in a sauna. It gets kind of interesting.
Right. To me, it's not about what we do in the bedroom. It's the little things in life that mean the most to me. So, holding hands. Occasionally, when I'm in a good mood, I'll put my hand in his back pocket. When we first got together, we were literally glued to each other's head.
Yeah.
And it's not that we aren't anymore. It's physically I can't handle a lot of it. And from my point of view, it sucks. Because I really want to.
It sucks from my point of view, too. And yes, for those of you who are probably wondering, it has impacted the libido.
Yes, it does. I go up and down in waves because I've had a change of medications.
And so when she's having an up, we try to take advantage of it. But, well, you know how life tends to go. Sometimes it just isn't in the cards for that day.
Yeah.
But we try to make the best of it when we can. But it's still hard, and it's always going to be that way. And I know as things progress, if they get worse, that it's going to be even harder.
Let's pray and hope that it continues to stay the same.
That's what we're hoping for.
Yeah. And our final question for the night. What would you tell other spouses that have a wife or a husband with scleroderma, or partner? I have to be very honest with that.
Patience. I know at times it may not seem like anything's wrong, or it's just all in their head. You just have to be patient. Be supportive. Be there when they need a hand.
Sorry.
And don't give up and freak out and say things that you don't mean just because you're frustrated at the situation.
Frustrations happen, but another thing is don't yell at your partner. They have enough shit going on in their head.
And it makes a lot of it worse because flare-ups for symptoms and Raynaud's
are stress-induced normally.
Yeah. So when you blow up and you yell, scream, threaten to leave, whatever, it can cause pretty bad flare-ups that actually just domino effects on you.
And in some of the scleroderma groups that I'm in, I've seen wives sit there and go, well, my husband's divorcing me because he doesn't understand, so he's leaving me with the kids. Don't do that. Just because you're being, and I'm going to be blunt, a rude asshole because you're not willing to compromise. You're not willing to understand.
Take the time to go to the doctor's appointments with your partner.
Learn about this disease.
Ask questions. Find some of the support groups that are on different social medias.
There is spousal support groups on Facebook.
Yeah.
You can find one.
You can find one in your area that maybe has some meetings.
Yep.
So you guys can get together and try to help understand. Or if you need to where you don't blow up at your partner, you can get your bitch session, so to say, out of the way over, this week was a bad week, so she couldn't do much, and you're frustrated because you're overworking yourself.
Yep.
You can get caregiver burnout.
Yep.
It's a hard one to have to deal with. And what you have to do is you guys have to find a way to take some time for yourselves on a good day.
Yep.
And just forget about the disease. Forget about all the BS. Forget about the fatigue.
Why did you fall in love with each other in the first place?
Yeah. And do your date night. Go just take a drive somewhere and spend time with each other. Hell, even if you don't go anywhere and you just sit there and talk with each other for hours on end, like when you first started dating and when you guys were first getting together.
Is there anything else you want to tell anybody?
It'll get better.
It just takes time.
Just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of patience and talking to your doctors. You can get through this. You can live with this.
Sorry, I've had a long day and I'm really tired. Thank you for watching these informative and educational videos. So far, this is the last one in our video series for Scleroderma.
Last one we have planned, at least.
Yes. Please comment down below if you have questions. If you need to get a hold of somebody, comment down below. We'll get a hold of you. You can also get a hold of me on my social media and on Facebook. I have a Facebook page now for my YouTube. Just go down below in the down bar, click the little button that's over there, and it'll bring it all down, and you can go there. If you haven't done so already, please click the subscribe button. Click that little tiny notification bell. Yeah, click it. That way you get the notifications every time we upload. And if you could, please share our video.
And for those of you who have other friends that are scleroderma patients that are going through troubles with their spouses, partners,
Show them this
wives,
video.
show them the video. Tell them to reach out to us if they don't get it. If they need further understanding on something, I'll be more than happy to talk to any of them. I'll let everybody know what my experiences have been and how hard it's hard. And it wears on me. But that's no reason to give up.
Nope. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys again. Later.
Later.